This atheist was walking through the forest one day, marvelling at the beauty of the majestic trees, the sounds of the birds, the bubbling of the brook, and he was just looking at this wonderful creation around him, when suddenly he heard a bit of a rustle at the back, and he saw this 9-pound huge grizzly bear chasing after him. So he ran for his life, and the bear closed in on him, and he tripped over a root, fell down, and suddenly the bear was looking with his right paw raised to strike him. And the atheist said, "Oh God, help me." And suddenly everything froze. A bright light shone, the brook stopped bubbling, the trees just stayed put, and the voice said, "How is it that you, an atheist, call on me, God, to help you?" And the man said, "Yes, I know I've spent most of my life decrying anyone who believed in you and not believing myself. But," he said, "please, it'd be hypocritical for me to become a Christian, but please, do you think you could make the bear a Christian?" And God said, "Oh yes." So the lights went on, and the bear then raised its paws, put them together, and said, "For what I'm about to see, I can truly grateful." So this has bring us to this whole problem of life and faith and all this thing. I mean, it's hard to understand. There's so many millions of people of so many diverse beliefs or non-beliefs, and yet God says, well, He's brought us onto the planet, and He just doesn't want us to die and just end it there. He wants us to get through the time we've got and move forward into the kingdom that He wants. And when He's talking about those people who, He's talking about the Jewish nation who've been called the chosen people of God, who had given the 10 Commandments, who've been given all the helps, and told that I have the Messiah. But they didn't accept the Messiah. They didn't want that type of Messiah. So then they all fell apart then. They persecuted the Christians, they drove them out of synagogues, and so this whole concept of who's to be saved, has God got favourites? What's happening? So that all of us have been given a great help. I remember once hearing a great argument in a room, and one chap was a convinced atheist and says, he said, people with religion are people who, it's just a crutch. All it is, a religion's a crutch that you lean on. And one person got up and said, but don't we all live? So we do live. But the thing about having your faith is a gift of God that's just come to you because He loves you as He loves everyone. But this gift is enabling you to face life, to make sense of your life, to have a program of living that enhances you. It gives you something you hang on to, something that gives you purpose and meaning in times of affliction and disappointment and joy too. That's why we come, because God's calling us here this morning to give thanks to God, to give thanks for this being that has brought us into existence and keeps us in existence and will welcome us when we close our eyes in death. And that's the mystery of it all. But that's why we call this Mass the Eucharist. It means we give thanks to God. The Greek word is Eucharistia, to give thanks. And everyone needs to give thanks. Now, people do that in their own limited way. They do it in a church, they do it in the forests, they do it everywhere. In their heart, if they can say, thank God. You hear people say, thank God. Well, that's a religious action. And Jesus is saying, well, we're all, He's calling us all. And you can't judge who'll be saved and who won't. Whatever being saved is, I'm not quite sure. All I know is that the purpose of life is to come and respond to God's grace in your life, which you all are doing, and to try and have him as your close friend, to have him as your support, to have him as someone who is welcoming you to your true home. On this time, just on the time we've got, it's not our true home. Our true home is with the presence of God and the beauty of seeing all the beauty in the world, all the lovely sounds, all the magnificent love, all the kindness, all that coming in a huge tidal wave that engulfs us when we die. And we call it heaven, you can call it what you like, but it's beyond our imagining, but it's a fact. And that's why Jesus went through all the ordinariness of life, the eating, the drinking, the disappointment. He's having his heart broken, the terrible pain of the cross, seeing his mother suffer, all that thing that you and I go through. And he's part of it. And he's just saying, with his arms saying, I'm waiting for you. And that's what he's doing today. He comes to you now simply and quietly under the appearance of bread. But that's more than that, it's him himself, just giving you that extra impetus. That's it, that's movement up to know that your life is important. Or whatever, how you're feeling at the moment, that's God's affair. And he's calling you all day, every day, to move closer to him. Maybe at this time it's a suffering, an unexpected illness, a pain that you can't explain, a disappointment in someone, a heartbreak. That's all part of it. He said in our second reading, he said, you know, God disciplines. Things happen, not just by chance, but part of your formation, part of our journey. And he says, therefore, lift up your drooping hands, strengthen your weak knees, and make straight paths for your feet. That's what we do coming to Mass. So what is lame may we not put out of joint, but rather be healed. So the whole process of life goes on. We're part of it. We've had this wonderful gift of faith, which is ours, and that gives us that impetus, that peace and strength to continue the great pilgrimage that we're all on. One day we'll end with death, and then we'll go into our true home and true life, which is with God forever.